live here on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Clubhouse. And so I just want to welcome everybody in tonight. We are going to have a conversation about some of the techie stuff that happens in business. And these are some of the things that sometimes people get frustrated with a little bit. I hear a lot of people talk and say, I'm not techie. I get stuck in my business because I'm not sure what to do or what tools to use, or, they can't move forward because of some of these things. Or sometimes they have too many tech pieces and they're not sure how to put them all together. So there are some things, depending on what you want to do, that you can select. And we're going to talk about that tonight. So, when it comes to running your business, especially online, right, you have to begin to select which tools you want to use in your business that are going to help you to be most successful. And I've had to make these choices over the past 16 years because I've been in this online space for that long. And I've had to experiment and help my clients and learn how to use the different tools. So let me start off by saying that my name is Makita Rodriguez, and I'm a coach, consultant, and digital agency owner. And I help you to build your business. And so if you have any questions about the tech tools that you should be using or anything like that, you can reach out to me on all platforms as Mrs. Makita Rod. And then my company is Redword Host LLC, and you can find us over at redwordhost.com. So some of the things that I automatically suggest that you have are, and the top one is an email autoresponder. And this is going to be the way that when you hear a lot of people talk about, lead generation and how to get more sales and, how to build a environment, a community for your business, one of the first things you want to have is an email autoresponder. And a lot of times I recommend having something like MailChimp. And that's when it's like 100% for free. But I normally, after someone has started off with MailChimp, if they're looking for a tool that they can last a longer period of time, then I would tell them to go over to Aweber. So Aweber is my number one go-to recommendation. It's been around for the longest amount of time. There is a free trial. And then one of the greatest things about what Aweber that is not with a lot of other companies is that they have a phone number that you can actually call to get assistance anytime that you are in need, anytime that you need someone to just kind of help you along the way. Aweber has a phone number that you can call. So when you're using Aweber, you're going to create a lead magnet. You can create a tier 1 funnel using Aweber. You can build a community and start a newsletter. You can send out coupons and things like that. If you have physical products, even if you have digital products, you can send out coupons and things. So Aweber is going to be a great tool to use as you are growing your business. And if you're just starting, this is like the number one thing that you need. After that, a lot of people will tell you that you don't need a website, but I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm actually going to tell you that you should build a website. And there are a few different tools that you can use for this, but I always say that you should go with one that's going to let you have your own hosting, where you will have the most control, your own domain. And so I generally say go over to WordPress. Now, there are people who are completely terrified of WordPress, but when you link up with me and we go through my systems and my processes and everything, I teach you how to build your own website on WordPress. And it's not as scary as you think it is once you learn how the platform works. And of course, if you need any assistance, someone like me and my agency, we can definitely help you. But the reason why I suggest that you go over to WordPress is because it has basically endless possibilities. Now, of course, there are other platforms that you can go to, but this is one of the first ones that I recommend. And if you are looking for something that has like an all-in-one where you can have some landing pages, you can have, you can host your courses. The next step that I'm going to recommend is something like Kajabi. Okay, Kajabi is a platform that would allow you to host your courses. It now has the ability to do podcasts and to book appointments. And you can have landing pages over there and create kind of like a website as well. This is a great platform to use. I personally use it in my coaching side of my business with the courses, and it's a great place to start. It also has an in-house email autoresponder. So this is something that if you're looking for kind of like a one-stop shop and you're looking for something that has been around for a very long time, Kajabi is a great choice. There's another thing that you may want to do if you're building your business online, and if you're trying to build a business that doesn't require any products, and by products, I mean physical products, then you can offer your services, whether that be, whatever it is that you've been doing for a certain amount of time. You can offer consulting, and you can offer coaching, and you can offer even mentoring. I've seen spiritual coaches, I've seen life coaches, I've seen business coaches, finance, fitness coaches, so many different type of coaches, relationship coaches, parenting coaches. And these are all people, right? As you know, because this is probably your niche, you have a skill set, you have something that you've done, you have some sort of expertise, some things that you learn, and you can help people get from where they are now to where they want to be. And when you want to do that, there are two basic things that you will need. Two basic things that I recommend. One of them is going to be a calendar system. So you can choose something like Calendly. That's really easy, and it starts off for free. But you can also go to my number one, which is Acuity. So I really like Acuity because it allows you to set up your different types of calendars. You don't just have one choice. Now, of course, this is going to be for a fee. It's about $25 on the basic plan, but it's still worth it. It's very much worth it. Um, you can set up your calendar, and you can have different types of appointments, and some of those appointments can be private and some of those appointments can be public. And one of the great things is that Acuity is going to send out a text message to both you and the person who booked the appointment as soon as it's scheduled. So that is something different that Calendly does not do. Calendly will send an email, but Acuity will send an email and a text message. And of course, it will send a reminder later on. You can also hook up the next tool that I recommend, which is a Zoom link, right? If you're meeting with anyone, I recommend that you meet with them face to face. If you're doing coaching, because it helps to build a relationship. Of course, you can meet with them over the phone, but it's also really good if you choose to meet with them face to face as well. And well, digital face to face, virtual face to face. And so using Zoom to link up with your clients is a great tool as well. Now, when you're doing something like this, you can take the video from Zoom and you can pop it into your Kajabi website, your Kajabi courses. And so you begin to use these tools together to really build type of an ecosystem within your business to manage your relationship with your clients, to you have a product or a service that you can sell, and the tech begins to not be as hard. Now, if you're looking for something that is more of an all-in-one business box type thing, then you're looking for our business toolbox. And what this includes is a business phone number, business email, text message. You have your calendar built in, you have your website, you can build funnels. It's really endless. You can have automations built in as well. And so with any of these options, you can reach out and we'd be glad to help you. I'm going to post the link down below over here on YouTube so that it'll be down in the description box. Generally, this information is down there anyway. But if you find that you have any questions for me and you would like to get some more information, then feel free to pop a comment down below. And you can also find me everywhere at Mrs. Makita Rod. And like I mentioned before, you can go over to the website over on redwarhost.com. So those are the tools that you can use when it comes to building your business. But now there's a little bit something else that I kind of want to jump into because I saw something earlier today that really made me think, and I felt like I wanted to have a bit of a conversation around it. I'm just going to add a little commentary. And if you have something to share or say, feel free to do so. And then maybe we'll touch back on it later on. So Um, as I mentioned before, I am a digital agency owner. And before I, got into all these different things, I had started out with building websites. And over time, I have learned how to do everything that is required for marketing and tech pieces online. And, we work with different types of businesses in my agency. And over time, I've been able to learn and understand a perspective of business owners, not just because of working with business owners, but because I am one myself. So, one thing that I saw earlier today was someone talking about kind of their expectation and how they felt like they lost money when they were working with someone who was running their ads. And I understand the perspective of the business owner, which was that that person didn't get the result that they wanted. But what I wanted to make sure that you as a business owner is thinking about, which we need to make sure that we're processing, right, as we're working together, is the expectation. And what are the expected results and the communicated results that you're supposed to get when you work with someone who is a service provider? So, number one, if you're a service provider and you're watching this, right, you want to make sure that you are communicating to the person that you're working with the type of results that you're going to give them. And if you are a business owner and you're watching this, you want to make sure that you are communicating to your service provider the type of results that you're expecting. Hello, if you're here and you have anything to say, feel free to pop it in the chat. And that goes for all platforms. So welcome, welcome. But you want to make sure that you're communicating the results that you expect. So, the situation that I saw earlier today was basically that someone had paid someone to run their ads for them, and they didn't get the results that they expected. So, one of the things that we all must understand when it comes to running ads is that no matter how good you are at running ads, there's going to be a period of trial and error, because the person running the ads has to create a great piece of content that must be tested in the market. And it's kind of like a science experiment sometimes, right? There are variables that can be controlled, and there are things that are outside of the control of both the business owner and the person running the ads. So, something that has to be clearly communicated and clearly understood is, what are the results that you're trying to get? So there could be a lot of different results you're trying to get. Like in this particular scenario, maybe this person is trying to get more leads. Okay, that should be communicated, and there should be a way to see if the results are um, being delivered over a specific amount of time. And if not, then the question needs to be why. There needs to be an understanding. So instead of simply just pointing and saying, I didn't get the results that I wanted, therefore running ads with an outside person or outside agency doesn't work, there needs to be a clear understanding of what's going on. So before getting into this conversation, right, I mentioned the tech. And the reason why I talked about the tech is because that's always a variable in every situation, especially running your business online. Just like right now, I am on three different devices and I'm speaking and I'm doing my part. What I can control is myself. But at any given moment, if something happens and all the tech goes down, that's not something that I can actually control. It just happens. So the platform, the way that things are being ran, those are things that are out of the control of the service provider sometimes. So when you're running ads, there's going to be a period of adjustment. And sometimes it is actually the creative piece. It can also be the offer. It could also be the copy. So there's so many different things that go into this, that when you get into a relationship with your service provider or service provider when you get into a relationship with your business owner, you want to make sure that the results are being properly communicated. So I'm going to stick with this ads thing, and I'm going to give another example. So another example we mentioned, one is like you want to get leads. Another one is that you're trying to get visibility. So when you want visibility, there isn't exactly going to be always be a sale. Someone is not always going to transfer from watching to getting your lead magnet. Sometimes the visibility is just going to show in page views, right? So those things need to be communicated as well. So if someone goes in, if you are a business owner and you decide you're going to work with an agency or work with a person to run your ads, and you just say, I just want you to run my ads, and this is going to be my ad spend. I'm going to spend $5,000 for my ad spend, and I'm going to pay you, to run the ads. One of the things that you need to have a conversation about is, what is your expectation? What is it that you actually want to happen when the ads are being ran, right? So if it is, well, I want to grow my audience, you need to talk about how is that going to happen, because the creative piece, the actual content, the asset needs to be something that is already going to grow your audience. So essentially, this is a piece of content that already by itself, without any ads, can get you more followers, right? And then when you begin to connect it to the ads just amplify it. Or maybe that is an example of what it is that you're going to use when you are actually running ads. Okay. So another thing is, if you decide you want to make sales, well, that sales piece of asset, it needs to be something that you already know the conversion rate of it. Okay. Or you are willing to test out the conversion rate while the ads are running. But if you as a business owner begin to just constantly change your mind in the midst of this ads running process, then what can happen is you can become disappointed. And it can kind of throw a wrench in the professional relationship, because now there's a back and forth between the expected results, the communicated results, and the actual result, right? So these are conversations that need to be had. It's the same thing when we're talking about social media. If you're having someone to run your social media, you have to decide, do you just want the content to be posted so that you can have regular social media going to your page and you can just remain visible, right? It could just show that you are present, that you are there. Or are you wanting the social media to actually get a result? Now, there is a specific result that your social media should get if the person running your social media has been doing so for a certain amount of time and they know how to get your social to convert. But you have to be willing to work with that person as well. Okay. So the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, just kind of mention this, is because when I saw it, I had on my business owner hat, but I also had on my agency owner hat. And it just helped me to see, okay, sometimes there's a little bit of confusion about what it is that you think you're going to get versus the actual process and what you get. And it's not always because you just wasted money or someone cheated you. Sometimes it's because of the way that things are. And so, when you decide that you're going to hire someone to work with you in your business to achieve a specific goal, you have to be willing to have open conversations around these things, and to understand that there are going to be some things that you just don't know. Some things that you just don't know and you won't get until you begin going through the experience. There also needs to be a bit of an understanding that, like I said before, the platforms are the platforms. And there are certain things that we can't control on the platforms. The algorithms are always changing. And sometimes we just have to test things out. There are going to be things that we can definitely get you results on, but with the time and the way that things work, and even with our audiences, things change. I know someone I was talking to recently said, the way that people bought back in 2020 is completely different than the way that people buy today. And I do understand that. I do get it. However, there are timeless principles that do work over time, right? They across time spans, they still work. Some of them just take longer than others. Some of them just take, they require more from us than others and don't get as quick as of a result than others do. So, as we are utilizing technology and getting assistance from other people and building our businesses, we just want to make sure that our expectation is realistic and clear. And even from someone who, may say that they can get a certain amount of results really quickly, it should still be understood that anything could happen. You want to get those results, but absolutely anything can happen. So, I'll talk about, there was a time where I had built a website for a client, and then the actual hosting company migrated the website from one of their hostings in one state to another. And the client was very confused about like what happened. And the thing is, it's the hosting company. We have to contact the hosting company because I'm not hosting it outside of my home, inside my house. There's no control over that. And that can be a very frustrating situation, but it's something that we deal with when we're building online. So, what we want to do is we just want to make sure that, we have a backup plan and that we know that things can always be rebuilt. They can always be reconstructed. The Facebook ads can be ran, to get the result over time. They just may take a little bit of tweaking. And of course, you have every right to decide that you're not satisfied and to try and do things a different way. But I just wanted to kind of bring a different perspective to this because even when you are running your business yourself, you have to do trial and error. If you are reaching out to individual people and having conversations, even if you have a sales script or whatever, there is trial and error. I remember talking with a business owner before about webinars, and, I had been told prior to that, webinars are great. That is the way to go. Just do a webinar and it's going to sell out, your product. So what they did not mention is that there is a space when in between creating the webinar and it selling out, where you must run the webinar in live in order to see when it converts at its highest. Or else what's going to happen is your conversion rates will be very low when you're letting your webinar run. So what you want to do, and I mean as in regards to like an evergreen webinar. So what you want to do is you want to run your webinar live and then get the results that you want and make sure it's recorded. And when the conversion rate is high enough, right, then that particular webinar, that particular script, the way that you did that one is the way that needs to run on Evergreen. And so there will be some people who will take the live webinar that they ran and they will go ahead and they'll record it, and then that'll be the video that they use for the Evergreen webinar. So, basically, as you're building online, right, there are things that we want to happen immediately, and it can be done, but there are also things that we have to have patience with that are going to take time. And so we just need to be ready to test out different types of tech, test out different types of techniques, and even when working with people, be willing to go through different experiences to figure out what works best. As long as we remain consistent and faithful in our business, then we will see the results that we desire. It's just going to take some testing sometimes. I mentioned this before, that we are in the school of life, right? And in the school of life, there are different types of experiences that we go through, and they perfect whatever level we are on. And once we get that A plus at that level or that passing grade, then we can move on to the next level. But until we get that, we have to stay right here, and we have to go through the different quizzes and exams, and we have to learn the lessons and get better at what it is that we do. So, with that being said, figure out the tech that you need in your business. If you have questions, ask me. Post a comment. I'll be glad to share, whatever information that I have with you. But figure out what your business needs. Look at your business model and the goals that you're trying to reach, and figure out how to incorporate the specific types of tech tools, the consulting or coaching that you receive, and the assistance from team members and even people that you outsource. As you do this, you'll be able to grow the business into what you really hope and desire that it will be, and it will really pay off and be profitable for you. So, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Makita Rodriguez, and I'm a coach, consultant, and digital agency owner over at Redword Host LLC. And you can find it over at redwordhost.com. If you would like to connect with me, then you can find me on every platform at Mrs. Makita Rod. Again, that's Mrs. Makita Rod. And just feel free to message me, send me any questions that you have, and we can discuss whatever your concerns are. So, I want to thank you again for joining me. Again, tonight we talked about tech in business, and that is going to be it. So I'll chat with you next time. Bye.